What's going on, everybody? So today I have a bit of a goal. It's been quite a while since I started this whole project with Earl. We've come a long way. To be honest, I had gotten a little scared to start it. When I built the transmission, there was a bit of a binding on the fourth gear. So for some reason, I was scared that whenever I'd go to crank it up, it would be in gear of some sort and try to lurch forward or something of that nature, which is actually crazy because if you can actually go through the gears and everything like that and everything works as it should. I have learned that. Not to mention that, but I've also added a stage 3 cam, new injectors, turbos, things, all these things, extra things. They change the mechanics and the nature of the engine, how everything works, fuels that go into it, timing, everything like that. I did a lot of research, and I had made some changes to the computer over a period of this time where I haven't been working on Earl. I've sat there and I've messed with the computer a lot. Not a lot, but just going based off what other people say, just giving kind of like general adjustments. It's still gonna have to go to a tuner. That's a given, but I want it to be able to crank up and half-ass idle of some sort, you know. So what we're gonna do today is actually we're gonna hook up a battery. I have a battery charged up, and we're gonna make sure that because I have oil in her, and let me tell you that was fun trying to find a oil filter that fit. I had that new oil pan, and I tried an LS1 filter, the 6 liter LS filters, all that. Nothing fit. The threads were too small on the filters. I ended up going with the 7 liter LS oil filter, and that fit great. So, and I think I have the shit. It's just like I'm not sure if it's the Holly oil pan or it's just the Hot Rod oil pan or what the hell it is, but I have that specific one, and it was just not the same oil filter. That's all taken care of now. The goal now is, like I said, I'm gonna hook up the battery, and we're gonna start checking voltages and places, make sure everything's hooked up right. There wasn't a lot of change to the whole system. There was that addition of the fuse box, but I just took each individual thing, and put it to where it's supposed to go individually at each time. So it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but I added the fuel pump and things like that, and so I want to make sure that all the power is going where it's supposed to be, all the relays still work, and just all of that. And not to mention, I think I added in a push start to an extent or something like that. So, oh yeah, gonna have to get all this stuff out of Earl, off of Earl, just everything. See, look at all that. It's poor girl. Poor girl. But, I mean, I did get the front bumper put back on. Half-assed somewhat. It had I'm missing a couple of the bolts. You know, it's amazing. You go through a move and things vanish. So, okay, so we have a small issue that we're going to have to figure out. I needed to get the fuel out anyways, but I didn't want it to go the way that it went. Apparently it leaked out of the tank. That's a good question as to where, because I'm pretty sure all these fittings are nice and tight. Yeah, they're all nice and tight. So I'm going to have to go through this, and I mean, for one, I have to turn this around. Somebody had pointed out that the way I have it set up is wrong, and now that I think about it, they're absolutely right. It is wrong. The reason why it is wrong is because the sump's back here. If I floor it, all of that fluid is going this way, away from here. So I run a great risk of starving the system of fuel, which is something that I prefer not to do. So since it freaking leaked out somehow, but that's I'm glad that I found that out now. That was one of the things that I was worried about was, it's so hard tightening all these fittings down the way that they are and everything like that. I mean, it is a pain in the butt, because like you have it is. And whenever you have a system like this, and there's probably a way to go about it that I am not doing properly. I'm very, very positive. That's very possible. You know, I'm not the best at a lot of things. So, but that being said, we need to figure out where this fuel leak is. So, probably gonna disconnect it right there since there's no freaking fuel in there anyways, and then go ahead and start tightening up fittings and see what the heck's going on here, and then move this from here and just, which I mean, it's not gonna be that big a deal. It's actually gonna be a little bit better. It's gonna put the gas tank directly over the axle, which should be a little bit better. I don't have to do. I'm not worried about this hole. I'll just, you know, like I said, I'm just flipping everything around. There's gonna be additional holes back here that I can choose to weld up or just, you know, say fuck it. Which is a very good chance. So one of the things I want to do also is get all this garbage out of the back of this. I don't even know how all this is back here. I don't even use this thing. I guess it was from the move. So, bicycle helmet. What the heck? Okay, so let me get all this out of here, and then, like I said, we'll swap this around and we'll get this going. All right, so we have it reattached over here in the proper direction. However, I believe that the leak actually happened around here because that line was still full of fluid, and if it leaked, you know, at one of the fittings further on down, then you would think that it would have, you know, cleared that line as well. So I'm leading to think that it was right here in this area, but I'm going to have to get some more line because, as you can see, that is the line that was going there, and it used to go like right here. But as you can see now, it's not making it. I do have some of those 90-degree fittings, so maybe I can get a 90-degree fitting to fit on here, and then it might work. I don't know. We'll have to look and see though. I said 90 a minute ago, but what I meant was the 180-degree fitting, which, let me just say, worked. I changed it from that port to that port, which, you know, made it work. And I checked all the fittings. Let's go down here and check this. So as you can see, it runs over to that filter right there, and then goes through that into the Aeromotive 1000, and then out that and into that next the post filter. I checked all those fittings and everything seems to be good, and these dogs are going to drive me crazy. But I still have to figure out a way to hook up this here return line. So I may just stick that, you know, somewhere for right now, just to kind of get it out of the way. But at least this has been taken care of. I still got to get fuel for this thing, which sucks because, you know, honestly, I thought it was all in there. I don't know where that fuel went. So I'm going to have to keep an eye on that. And Michael's just making an ungodly noise over there, so let's just wait. Okay, now that Michael's done making all that noise, so as you can see, like I said, I'll have to figure out a way to put this here return line in. But I'm gonna check to see if I have any of the fittings. But the problem is there's a 10A in line up there. But that's pretty much it for this. Now we just need to figure out all the electrical parts and make sure that the pump actually runs. A lot of stuff that has to be done.
You guys want to see my butthole?
I've gone through, checked everything, determined that the battery that I have is garbage, so I have my little boost pack on there. Mainly I just want to hear it kind of like, I don't have it where it can fire up, but I mean, who doesn't want to hear it turn over a little bit though? So yeah, I heard that. Michael, here. Good. Here, put that up there. Get some shot of that. Ready?
Yep. We get a little fuel to this joker, she gonna fire up.
I know, man. It sounds healthy as shit. Damn. All right, so I just got to get a good battery for one. That one's just, I charged that, but it's an old one. It was from when Michael worked doing RVs and whatnot.
Yeah, that was a takeout battery, so.
Yeah, so, I mean.
We got nothing in it, it don't know us a dime.
Right, and I want to get like one that, because it's going to be back here behind the seat. I'd like to have one that's a little bit better than just, yeah. So, but that's a good sign. I love that's good. Yeah. I have confidence that it will probably fire up to some extent.
There's no bad noises.
Right, yeah, that's one of the main things I was worried about was you know, inside the engine. But when I first went to do it, the starter and the flywheel were not liking each other. But just, you know, usually the remedy to that is just turn the motor over with by hand a couple times, and then it's usually finds where it needs to be.
It'll self clearance.
Yeah. So I guess that's really all I can do today on the Earl. Though unfortunately, I gotta get gas because, like I said, fuel tank in there completely leaked out.
It ain't got no gas in it.
Which is good because, you know, I was sitting there wondering where the gas was coming from, and well, it was coming from there. But I think I figured it out where the leak was. We won't really know until we pressurize the system, obviously. But that's not going to happen today, unfortunately. I know I had told you, Zach, that it was going to fire up today, but I don't think she is. And then I'm about to go on vacation, so.
It's
But
gonna be about 3 weeks.
yeah, well, you know, at least when we get back from vacation, y'all are like, well, Patrick, you've been basically on vacation this whole time. Well, you know,
Patrick's always on vacation.
we have regular jobs too, unfortunately. YouTube just hasn't quite got to that point where it's like, hey, you ain't got to work no more. And it may never. That's okay, though. We're not worried about that. Yeah, that right there.
So subscribe.
That's the longest one I could find. So I'm either going to search harder or figure out something out because I can't find extensions unless I make my own. And that's going to be... there's got to be something I can do. There's got to be. I can't be the only one that's had this issue. So maybe there's some hard lines or something that I can run and get it closer,
So
and then
run it away from that exhaust.
yeah, because I don't like it being so close to. Yeah, that one's too close to the exhaust. That one's just like sitting there. Which, hey, hold on. While it's like that, can you take this line? I want to see if we can get if oil comes out of this line. So if you want to hold this too.
Yeah, let me grab something to catch it just in case.
The ground works pretty good.
I don't want it to go in the ground. I got a bottle right here.
All right.
Loose head. Good for something.
All right, there you go. I'll let you have that, and then I'm going to.
YouTube doesn't like that. Let's see what we got. Nothing yet. And we're out of juice. Nothing. Yeah.
We'll give it a second. The battery pack just has to charge that battery a little more. So, but we'll come back to you once we figure it out. It's going to take a little bit of cranking over to find that oil. It's going to take some time. It's got to get through the system and everything, you know. So, it's like first time oil's been in it. So, but let's see. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Let's see if, I mean...
Just not gonna do it.
You gotta get a new battery.
Yeah, we just killed your jump pack.
I know, you're so annoying. And it won't go away. Like, you have to let it just...
Yeah, it wants to do its 1 minute chime.
It's like...
Amazon special.
There it goes. I think we just overdid it. That's okay. I think it gives that air. I think we read that it gives that air on that pack when you've tried to charge it for so long and it doesn't start a fire over some bullshit. So, no biggie. Gotta get a new battery. It's inevitable. But I mean, it sounded decent, and I mean, I wish there was oil coming out of it, but I mean, still, the fact that it's spinning over.
Here, put your mouth on it and suck on it, and I'll crank it over again.
Right? Yeah. Probably not. But I wonder if y'all are upside down right now. Maybe y'all been upside down this whole time Michael's been filming.
Probably.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not a good camera guy.
Yeah, look at him. Does he look like a good camera guy?
I just look amazing, and that's it.
Okay, so I guess that's gonna be all for Earl today. I mean, I feel like I've made a lot of headroom. Like I turned the fuel tank around like it needs to be, which was something I really wanted to do, but I wanted to empty out the gas tank. Well,
it did it on its own.
I emptied out the gas tank on its own, so that's always good. You know, it's been so long since I messed with this. There's one other thing I forgot, guys. We don't have a belt on this thing. So I'm going to have to measure that and get one. I actually ordered 2 of them, but unfortunately those 2 were too big. Because that was the previous measurement and I did it all wrong. So I'm gonna have to figure out, first I have to figure out the proper routing, and I have to figure out if I need to get the idler pulley down there and just replace this whole alternator thing and just get the, I don't know. We're gonna see. I feel like it should be able to run from here down to there, but I don't know if that's gonna be too far of a run. So yeah, it's just something we're gonna have to figure out. So I'm gonna try and figure out measuring this thing and getting one of those as well as a battery. And what else did we need? Oh, the fuel line stuff or the oil line stuff. And but I mean, I feel like all my wiring and everything like that is sound. Like that's all good. That's actually a good confidence boost in me here. So that's one of the things I've been worried about is that did I wire up things right? And I may not have wired up the fuel pump right still though. I mean that's always an option. Because I gotta say I never heard it come on during that time when we were trying to do that. So either the relay's bad or I didn't wire it up right. So I gotta figure that out too. So.